In a significant display of international camaraderie, Chinese President Xi Jinping is set to attend the Victory Parade in Moscow as announced by the Kremlin. Scheduled for May 9, 2025, this event commemorates the Soviet Union's triumph over Nazi Germany in World War II. Xi's presence at this high-profile occasion underscores the strengthening ties between China and Russia, particularly in the context of current geopolitical tensions with the United States. The announcement comes at a time when Xi Jinping is actively emphasizing the necessity for China to adapt its economic strategies in response to external pressures. During a meeting in Shanghai with officials from key provinces, Xi highlighted the importance of remaining vigilant against global developments while formulating the nation's next five-year plan, which will span from 2026 to 2030. During the planning period, it is essential to take a forward-looking approach to assess the impact of global developments on China, adapt to the changing international landscape, Xi stated, according to the state news agency. This upcoming five-year plan is particularly critical as it aims to position China as a technological and military superpower amid ongoing tensions and a tariff war with the United States. The U.S. has accused China of unfair trade practices, leading to a series of tariffs that have strained economic relations between the two nations. These developments have not only raised concerns about the economic stability of both countries but have also had a detrimental effect on global growth. As former President Donald Trump justified the tariffs as a necessary measure to counteract what he termed the greatest job theft in the world. The trade dynamics between these economic giants remain precarious. Xi's call for heightened awareness of international challenges reflects a broader strategy to stabilize China's economy and maintain its growth trajectory, particularly in light of the external pressures it faces. He noted the need for multiple measures to stabilize employment, enterprises, and market expectations, aiming to create a robust economic framework capable of withstanding global fluctuations. As the world watches the evolving relationship between China and Russia, Xi's attendance at the Moscow parade serves as a strategic move to solidify alliances in a rapidly changing geopolitical landscape. This event not only signifies the historical ties between the two nations but also showcases their shared interests in countering U.S. influence. Looking ahead, the implications of Xi's visit and the upcoming five-year plan could set the tone for China's economic and diplomatic strategies in the years to come. As the country seeks to bolster its global standing, it will be essential to monitor how these developments unfold, especially as they pertain to U.S.-China relations and broader global economic trends. The interplay of these factors is likely to shape the future of international diplomacy and trade for the foreseeable future. As China embarks on its next five-year planning cycle, President Xi Jinping has called for vigilance against external pressures that may impact the nation's economic trajectory. Speaking during discussions in Shanghai aimed at shaping the 15th National Five-Year Plan, Xi emphasized the importance of adapting to international developments to optimize the country's economic framework. During the planning period, it is essential to take a forward-looking approach to assess the impact of global developments on China, Xi stated, urging officials from various provinces to proactively adjust strategies to stabilize the economy amid a shifting global landscape. The five-year plan, which will span from 2026 to 2030, is particularly significant as it coincides with China's ambitions to solidify its status as a technological and military superpower, particularly in its ongoing rivalry with the United States. This rivalry has intensified due to a tariff war initiated by Washington, which has raised concerns about economic stability in both nations and dampened global growth prospects. As she noted, a multifaceted approach is necessary to stabilize employment, enterprises, and market expectations in light of these external challenges. The backdrop to Xi's assertion is a complex economic environment, marked by internal and external strains. The trade war with the U.S. has fueled uncertainty, with tariffs affecting various sectors. American President Donald Trump has defended his stance, claiming that the tariffs are a response to what he describes as unfair practices by China. China probably will eat those tariffs, Trump remarked, emphasizing the U.S. position in the economic tussle. However, while these tariffs pose immediate challenges, the Chinese economy faces deeper structural issues, including a housing crisis and rising unemployment, particularly among youth. Reports indicate that China's housing market is suffering from a significant oversupply, with estimates suggesting there are enough vacant homes for over 3 billion people, far exceeding the actual population. This situation has led to declining home prices and waning consumer confidence, contributing to a slowdown in domestic spending. The government is aware of these challenges, and efforts to stimulate the economy through subsidies and increased wages have been implemented. Yet analysts argue that these measures may not yield sustainable results in the long term. Xi's leadership is further complicated by internal political dynamics. Recent purges within the military have raised alarms about loyalty and control, as high-ranking officials have been removed amid corruption investigations. This internal strife poses a risk to Xi's grip on power and his broader ambitions for China. The looming 2027 Party Congress, where Xi is expected to seek a fourth term, adds urgency to his need to present a stable and prosperous image to the public. The interplay of external pressures and internal challenges has led analysts to observe that while Xi's administration projects confidence, the underlying issues could undermine this facade. Political unrest driven by financial grievances has been on the rise, with protests increasing in recent months. The Communist Party's ability to maintain social stability is crucial, and the administration is keenly aware that economic instability could provoke greater dissent. In the face of these multifaceted challenges, Xi appears to be leveraging the external threat posed by U.S. tariffs to rally nationalist sentiment domestically. The Chinese government has sought to diversify its trade relationships, expanding ties with Southeast Asian countries, Latin America, and Africa. This strategy aligns with Xi's broader vision of positioning China as a stable global trade partner amid rising protectionism from the U.S. As China navigates this complex landscape, the effectiveness of its response to both internal and external challenges remains uncertain. If the economy slows further or social unrest escalates, Xi's leadership could face significant tests. The next 5 years will be critical not only for China's economic ambitions but also for the political stability of Xi's administration. How China adapts to its current challenges may ultimately shape its future trajectory on the global stage, underscoring the delicate balance between external pressures and internal dynamics that Xi must manage as he moves forward. In a pivotal moment for China's economy, President Xi Jinping has called for a strategic reassessment of the nation's economic framework in response to evolving global dynamics. As China prepares its next 5-year plan, which will set the course for 2026 to 2030, Xi emphasized the need for adaptability and foresight amid external pressures, particularly from the ongoing trade tensions with the United States. Speaking at a meeting in Shanghai on April 30, 2025, Xi urged officials from several provinces to closely monitor international developments and adjust their economic strategies accordingly. During the planning period, it is essential to take a forward-looking approach to assess the impact of global developments on China, he stated. He further highlighted the importance of stabilizing employment and markets while maintaining confidence in domestic governance, reflecting an awareness of the precarious economic landscape shaped by recent global events. The context for Xi's remarks is a tumultuous trade relationship with the U.S., which has seen escalating tariffs that threaten to disrupt supply chains and economic stability. The trade war initiated under former President Donald Trump has heightened anxieties about recession and market volatility. Trump's tariffs, peaking at 145% on certain imports, have not only rattled Chinese exporters but also sparked a wave of domestic discontent, particularly among youth facing high unemployment rates, a staggering 21% among urban young adults as of August 2023. This economic strain is compounded by a significant housing crisis in China, where many families find themselves with devalued investments in real estate. Although Xi has called for self-reliance, experts point out that the country is grappling with more profound internal issues, including a slowing economy and diminishing consumer confidence. He King, a former deputy head of China's Statistics Bureau, noted the alarming surplus of vacant homes, suggesting a disconnect between construction and market demand. Analysts assert that the domestic consumption needed to offset the impact of U.S. tariffs is unlikely to materialize quickly. Professor Nia Huihua of Renmin University warned, given the downward pressure on the economy, it is unlikely domestic spending can be significantly expanded in the short term. This presents a formidable challenge for Xi, who has long championed the vision of a rejuvenated China, now under threat from both external tariffs and internal economic malaise. While the trade war has prompted a diversification of China's export markets, shifting focus towards Southeast Asia, Latin America, and Africa, there remains a palpable tension. She is keenly aware that navigating this complex landscape requires not only economic agility but also strategic diplomacy. Recent reports indicate that protests driven by financial grievances have surged, though they are swiftly suppressed by government authorities. As China embarks on formulating its 15th five-year plan, the stakes are high. The plan is seen as crucial for advancing China's ambitions to become a technological and military superpower, positioning itself firmly against the U.S. As she stated, we will remain confident and focused on running our own affairs, while resolutely advancing high-level opening up to the world. This balancing act underscores the intricate interplay between domestic policy and international relations that she must navigate. Looking ahead, the implications of Xi's strategy will be closely watched as China seeks to stabilize its economy while adapting to a rapidly changing global landscape. The upcoming five-year plan will not only define China's economic trajectory but also its role on the world stage, particularly in the face of continued U.S. scrutiny and rivalry. How effectively China can transform these challenges into opportunities will be pivotal in determining the future of its economic resilience and global standing. In a significant development within China's military and political landscape, Miao Hua, a senior general and the head of the Political Work Department of the Central Military Commission (CMC), has been removed from his position in the National People's Congress (NPC) amid an ongoing corruption investigation. Miao's dismissal, announced during a meeting of the NPC's Standing Committee, marks a notable step in President Xi Jinping's extensive anti-corruption campaign and military reform initiatives. Miao was placed under investigation for suspected serious violations of discipline in late November 2020, a term often associated with corruption within the Chinese military. His removal from the NPC is seen as a sign of progress in this investigation, which underscores the sensitive nature of such allegations in the military context. Miao's role was crucial in managing Communist Party ideology and overseeing personnel changes within the People's Liberation Army (PLA), making his expulsion a significant blow to the leadership structure. Xi Jinping's anti-corruption efforts have been a hallmark of his administration, reflecting his emphasis on party loyalty and ideological control within the PLA. The ongoing military reforms aim to strengthen the Chinese military's readiness and adherence to the Communist Party's directives, particularly as China positions itself as a potential military superpower. Miao's fall from grace exemplifies the precarious balance between loyalty and accountability that Xi is navigating as he prepares for a pivotal party congress in 2027. This internal upheaval within the PLA comes at a time when the military faces external pressures, notably from the United States and its allies. The recent pattern of purges among senior military leaders, including the unexpected disappearances of several high-ranking officials, has raised concerns about loyalty and stability within the armed forces. General He Weidong, a key figure in the CMC, has also reportedly vanished from public view, suggesting that the purges are far-reaching and indicative of Xi's tightening grip on military power amid fears of disloyalty. While the Chinese economy showed resilience with a reported 5.4% GDP growth in the first quarter of 2025, fears of job losses and economic instability loom large. A recent poll indicated that 44% of urban Chinese citizens are concerned about unemployment, reflecting rising anxieties as Xi faces both internal and external challenges. Analysts suggest that the ongoing purge within the military could undermine the PLA's combat readiness, thereby impacting China's assertive foreign policy, particularly regarding Taiwan and the South China Sea. As Xi approaches the 2027 Congress, where he is expected to seek an unprecedented fourth term, the stakes are high. The internal dynamics within the party and the military will be crucial in determining not only Xi's future but also the trajectory of China's military ambitions and its broader geopolitical strategies. Nationalism may currently serve as a unifying force for Xi, especially against external adversaries, but the fragile state of the military and potential economic downturns could complicate his plans. In conclusion, Miao Hua's removal from the National People's Congress is emblematic of the broader challenges facing Xi Jinping as he attempts to consolidate power and enforce party loyalty. As the world watches the unfolding events in China, the implications of these internal purges will likely resonate beyond its borders, influencing both regional stability and global geopolitical dynamics in the years to come. In the evolving landscape of international diplomacy, Russia's foreign policy is increasingly characterized by the emergence of proxy diplomats, a trend that raises both opportunities and significant risks for the Kremlin. Since the onset of the full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, this informal approach to diplomacy has gained traction, allowing the Russian government to engage more flexibly with global partners. However, as highlighted in a recent analysis from the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, this strategy could undermine Russia's reliability as an international player. The shifting dynamics of Russian diplomacy are exemplified in the negotiations concerning a potential ceasefire in Ukraine. Rather than relying on traditional channels through the foreign ministry, key discussions have taken place through informal intermediaries like U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff and Kirill Dmitriev, the head of the Russian Direct Investment Fund. Dmitriev, who is known for his close ties to President Vladimir Putin, has emerged as a significant figure in these talks, leveraging his business acumen to navigate sensitive topics and propose attractive deals in areas such as Arctic exploration and resource extraction. His social media presence, where he often praises figures like former President Trump and billionaire Elon Musk, further underscores his role in shaping the narrative around Russian-US relations. This informal diplomacy, while providing immediate channels for dialogue, has not been without its pitfalls. Traditional diplomats in Russia, including Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, have expressed frustration over the encroachment of proxy diplomats into areas typically reserved for official representatives. The lack of clear communication from Putin regarding his foreign policy objectives often leads to misunderstandings. Dmitriev's optimistic posturing, for instance, creates unrealistic expectations that can quickly evaporate during subsequent more formal discussions between seasoned diplomats. Moreover, the rise of proxy negotiators such as Dmitriev and Sergei Kiriyenko, who has taken on responsibilities for relations with breakaway regions in Georgia and various African nations, indicates a broader trend within the Kremlin. This shift reflects an attempt to adapt to international isolation following the Ukraine invasion, but risks complicating the already intricate web of Russia's foreign relations. Each proxy negotiator brings their idiosyncrasies and interpretations of Putin's directives, leading to potential conflicts and competition amongst them rather than a unified diplomatic front. The ramifications of this evolving diplomatic landscape are significant. While proxy diplomacy allows Russia to engage with the world more nimbly, it also risks transforming the nation's foreign policy into a labyrinthine affair heavily reliant on the individual capabilities and ambitions of its proxy diplomats. The danger lies in the possibility that personal agreements crafted by these individuals may lack the formal backing necessary for lasting international commitments, resulting in a perception of Russia as an unreliable partner. As the Kremlin continues to navigate its complex relationships on the global stage, the future of Russian diplomacy remains uncertain. Should the trend of informal proxy-based negotiations persist, it could lead to a fragmentation of Russia's foreign policy coherence and further diminish its standing as a credible international actor. The next steps taken by Putin and his administration will be crucial in determining whether this strategy will fortify Russia's global position or contribute to its isolation. The implications of these developments will likely unfold in the coming months, shaping not only Russia's diplomatic relations but also the geopolitical landscape as a whole.